The Bold and the Beautiful B&B spoilers reveal that Poppy Nozawa Romy Park may say 5 ominous words after finding out Lee Finnegan Naomi Matsuda came to Luna Nozawa's Lisa Yamada rescue. Lee was appalled over Poppy's reaction when she lied about Luna's grim fate. Poppy claimed to be glad that Luna was dead, so that only reinforced Lee's belief that her wild sister was a terrible mother to Luna. Now Lee is trying to give Luna the guidance she needs to turn her life around, but Luna is obviously proving to be a handful. Lee certainly wasn't happy about Luna sneaking out since she needs her niece and granddaughter to stay off the radar for now. Luna keeps pushing Lee to chill and doesn't fully appreciate everything that's been done for her. Lee doesn't want to send Luna back to prison, but that's clearly where she belongs considering her long list of crimes. Since Lee doesn't know about Luna pouncing on Drunk will Spencer Crew Morrow, she's still focused on working with a lawyer to craft a legal strategy. Lee's goal is to find a solution that'll keep Luna free, but Luna is working on her own baby-related tactic. At some point, B&B spoilers say Poppy will discover Lee's deception regarding Luna's survival, so that's sure to bring a major confrontation for the sisters. You can bet Poppy will object to Lee lying about Luna's demise, but Lee may wonder why Poppy cares considering her cruel reaction at the hospital. Of course, Poppy will also have a problem with Lee fighting for Luna's freedom, so that brings us to the 5 ominous words she may deliver in response. You're going to regret this. Poppy knows Luna isn't her sweet little girl anymore and may predict she's never going to truly turn her life around. We'll inevitably see Poppy predict more destruction and count on Lee wishing she'd never fought to keep Luna out of the slammer. The Bold and the Beautiful spoilers say Poppy has filmed new scenes that'll air in the not-too-distant future, so we'll bring you updates on her reaction to all the messy Luna news. The Forrester Creations office buzzed with its usual mixture of high-end fashion frenzy and tense personal drama. Beneath the polished surface of silk and sequins, secrets pulsed like hidden landmines, ready to detonate at the slightest misstep. At the heart of this particular storm stood Poppy Nozawa, her green eyes dark with worry as she stood in her small, tastefully decorated apartment, phone clutched in her hand. Poppy's daughter, Luna, had always been her greatest joy and her deepest vulnerability. The world saw Luna as a bright, ambitious young woman making her mark in the glamorous world of Forrester Creations. But Poppy knew the truth. She had raised Luna alone, fighting tooth and nail to give her daughter a better life, while shielding her from family conflicts that could shatter the fragile foundation they'd built together. Tonight, however, all that careful protection threatened to come crashing down. A night gone terribly wrong. It had started with a phone call, the kind of call every mother dreads. "Ms. Nozawa?" the voice had said, crisp and professional. "Your daughter Luna was involved in an incident tonight. She's safe now, but she's been through a traumatic experience." The words had made Poppy's blood run cold. Safe now. Traumatic experience. She didn't wait for details. She threw on her coat and rushed out the door, her mind spinning with possibilities. Los Angeles was a city of glittering opportunities, but beneath the glamour lurked dangers, predators, bad decisions, old enemies. As she drove through the neon-lit streets, Poppy's thoughts kept circling back to one name, Lee Finnegan, her estranged sister and a woman whose very existence had been a thorn in Poppy's side for years. Lee's always had her claws in everyone, Poppy thought bitterly. Her perfect family, her perfect career, her perfect everything. And me? The black sheep. The failure. But as much as Poppy resented her sister, she knew one thing with certainty. Lee would do anything to protect family. Even Luna. Lee's unexpected heroism. At the hospital, Poppy was met with an unsettling sight. Lee stood at Luna's bedside, her typically cool and composed demeanor softened by genuine concern. Luna, pale and shaken, clutched her aunt's hand like a lifeline. Her usually bright smile was gone, replaced by the haunted expression of someone who had stared danger in the face. "Luna," Poppy breathed, rushing to her side. "Baby, what happened?" Luna's eyes filled with tears as she whispered, "Mom, it was awful. There was this guy at the party. He wouldn't leave me alone. I tried to get away, but he followed me to the parking lot. I didn't know what to do." Poppy's hands trembled. "Oh my God." "That's when I showed up," Lee interjected, her voice calm but firm. "I had been leaving a late shift at the hospital when I saw Luna struggling. I intervened before things could escalate. Security was called and the man was taken into custody." Poppy blinked in disbelief. Of all the people in the world, it was Lee who had saved her daughter. "Thank you," she managed, her pride warring with relief. I don't know what would have happened if you hadn't been there." Lee gave a curt nod, though her expression was unreadable. "Family takes care of each other," she said simply. The weight of gratitude. The next morning, Poppy sat at her kitchen table, a cup of coffee growing cold beside her. Luna was resting in her room, safe and sound, but Poppy couldn't shake the image of her daughter's frightened face. Nor could she ignore the gnawing realization that Lee had been the one to protect Luna, not her. Poppy had always prided herself on being the fierce, independent mother who didn't need anyone, least of all her overbearing sister. But now, gratitude sat heavy on her chest like a stone. And beneath that gratitude, fear. Because Lee was not the type to act without purpose. If she had stepped in to save Luna, it wasn't just out of sisterly love. There would be consequences. Lee always played the long game. Poppy's phone buzzed, pulling her from her thoughts. It was a text from an unknown number. "We need to talk." "Lee." Poppy's stomach twisted. Whatever Lee wanted to discuss, it wouldn't be good. Sisters at war. They met at a quiet cafe, far from the prying eyes of the Forrester family. The tension between them was palpable, a cold, brittle thing that threatened to snap at any moment. "You could at least say thank you," Lee said as soon as they sat down, her tone sharp. "I already did," Poppy replied, her voice tight. "But let's be honest, Lee, you didn't do this out of the goodness of your heart. What do you really want?" Lee's eyes narrowed. "What I want is for Luna to be safe. And that means keeping her away from trouble." "Away from you?" Poppy's jaw clenched. "Excuse me? You've been reckless, Poppy. Your choices, your lifestyle, they've put Luna at risk. I'm not going to stand by and watch my niece get dragged down because you can't get your act together." The words cut deep, hitting old wounds that had never fully healed. Poppy had spent her whole life feeling like a failure in Lee's shadow. Now, with Luna involved, the stakes were higher than ever. "You think you're so perfect," Poppy spat. "But you don't know what it's like to raise a child alone, to make sacrifices you can't even imagine." "I know what it's like to protect family," Lee counted. "And I won't apologize for doing what you clearly can't." The ominous 5 words. The argument escalated until Poppy could barely see straight. Lee's smug expression, her cutting remarks, her implication that Poppy was unfit to be a mother, it was too much. Finally, Poppy rose from her seat, her hands shaking. She leaned in close, her voice low and dangerous. "You'll regret this, Lee." Lee arched a brow, unimpressed. "Is that a threat?" Poppy's lips curled into a cold smile. This was her moment. The moment she let her sister know just how far she was willing to go. "You've crossed the line," she said. "And now there's no going back." Lee's eyes flickered, just for a moment, with uncertainty. It was a small victory, but it gave Poppy strength. She turned on her heel and stormed out, leaving her sister staring after her. But it wasn't until Poppy reached her car, her heart pounding, that the full weight of her own words hit her. There's no going back. 5 simple words, but they carried the promise of war. Luna caught in the middle. Meanwhile, Luna tried to go about her day at Forrester Creations, but the tension between her mother and aunt was impossible to ignore. She could feel it in every hushed conversation, every lingering glance. When R.J. Forrester stopped by her desk, his usual charming smile couldn't hide his concern. "Hey," he said gently. "How are you holding up?" Luna forced a smile. "I'm okay. Just trying to focus on work." R.J. frowned. "I heard about what happened at the party. I'm so sorry, Luna. You didn't deserve that." "Thanks, R.J." She hesitated, then added, "It's just been complicated. My mom and Aunt Lee are at each other's throats, and I feel like I'm stuck in the middle." R.J. reached for her hand. "You're not alone, okay? Whatever happens, I'm here for you." Luna's heart swelled at his words, but deep down she knew R.J.'s support wouldn't be enough to fix the rift between her mother and aunt. This was a family war decades in the making, and she was the prize they were fighting for. Secrets unearthed. Back at home, Poppy paced her living room, consumed by rage and fear. Lee thought she could swoop in and take Luna away, but Poppy wasn't about to let that happen. As she paced, her mind drifted to an old memory, one she had tried to bury for years. A secret that, if revealed, could destroy Lee's perfect image forever. Lee had always prided herself on being the upstanding doctor, the dutiful wife and mother. But Poppy knew the truth. She knew what really happened the night that could have ended Lee's career and her marriage. "If she pushes me, I'll push back," Poppy vowed. "And I won't play nice." Her phone buzzed again, this time with a message from an unknown sender. "You think you know everything, but you don't. Anonymous." Poppy stared at the screen, her blood running cold. Someone else was involved in this twisted game, someone who knew secrets she hadn't even considered. The battle lines are drawn. The following week at Forrester Creations, tensions reached a boiling point. Lee arrived unannounced, demanding to speak with Luna. Poppy was already there, having stopped by to drop off lunch for her daughter. The sight of the two sisters facing off in the middle of the elegant design office was like a scene from a high-stakes drama, which, in many ways, it was. "Luna," Lee said, her tone firm but not unkind. "I think it's time we talked about your future. There are opportunities you could have with me, with my resources, if you'd just let me help you." Poppy stepped between them. "Over my dead body." "Poppy," Lee snapped, "this isn't about you. It's about what's best for Luna." "No," Poppy said, her voice trembling with emotion. "This is about you trying to control everything just like you always have." Luna's eyes filled with tears as she looked between them. "Stop it. Both of you. I can't keep doing this." But neither woman was listening. The battle lines were drawn, and neither intended to back down. The storm to come. Later that night, Poppy sat alone in her apartment, staring out at the glittering city skyline. Luna was at RJ's house, seeking comfort and space away from the chaos. Poppy knew the coming days would be critical. If she didn't act fast, Lee could take everything, her daughter, her reputation, her very reason for living. She picked up her phone and dialed a number she hadn't called in years. When the voice on the other end answered, she spoke only 5 words. "It's time to finish this."